talk about Subriel Matias versus Dalton Smith, a possible matchup. Because first, I'm gonna just say this. I think they're trying to set up Matias. They're trying to set him up. Right? Now, let's begin talking. So, we all know that after a fight, a fighter is suspended. I don't know if everybody knows, but I know people who know boxing knows that they're suspended until they're cleared, right? Now, the reason why I think Matias is being set up is because it's in 4 months, right? And after, a close competitive fight, the way they just fought, which is a hard, tough fight, taking a lot of punches, just taking a lot of punishment, on both ends. For you to just jump back into a fight that quick, you know what I'm saying? It's not healthy. And the commission usually knows that. That's why they suspend the fighters, and then they're supposed to get cleared, because that's a way to protect the fighters from injuring themselves. You know what I mean? Now, with that being said, there's much more than that, but you know what I mean? There's more. As I talk, I'll start to get, remember more things that I wanted to talk about. But I've had this on my mind. I made a video that I did not upload. I forgot to upload it. So I'm just going to remake it, because I have things that I want to say that I didn't say on the other video. And I don't know how to edit shit and have all this cuts and snippets and whatever to make a full video, because all I got is my damn cell phone. Anyway, I think Matias, they're trying to set him up. You know what I mean? And the reason for that is because of the war that Matias, or it could have been Puello too. It's like he had it planned. He had this plan from the get-go to set up Dalton Smith, which is his fighter from Europe. You know what I mean? And the thing is, a healthy Matias and Dalton Smith, which Dalton Smith is he's not a bum. He's a decent fighter. He's pretty damn good. You know what I mean? I personally don't think he's on the level of like some of Matias's recent opponents, like Puello. I don't think he's on Puello's level. He's not on like Liam Paro's level. He's not on the you know what I mean? He's not on the top guy's level. But now, why I wanted to make the video, why I said but, taking into consideration of Matias's condition, meaning he's not going to be in the right condition, in 100% condition, to take a fight against Dalton, which is a decent fighter. You know what I mean? It's going to look, it's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but I just think it's a setup. Keep this phone still. I think it's a setup, personally. And I've already seen other channels make breakdowns. You know what I mean? But they're not mentioning how funny that was right after Matias won the fight, which I did see on some channels. They talked about that, how disrespectful it was. But what I saw was something a little different. Not only was it disrespectful to Matias's win, because they were taken away from his shine. Damn, I forgot to dump the damn trash. Not only are they taken away from his shine, it just seemed like he had that planned already. Like, he knew he was gonna go in there and just take a shit on his parade. You know what I mean? And set him up with Dalton Smith, which I think he's got the silver strap of the WBC. So that makes him, you know, number one in position for the WBC belt or championship. But the thing is, Matias don't have to take the fight. He doesn't have to take it right away like that. I'm pretty sure on most of the sanctioning bodies, you have up to a year to fight your mandatory, or 6 months or something like that. But I'm pretty sure it's a year. Anyways, so in 4 months, think about it. So you're gonna get suspended, right? Until the New York State Athletic Commission clears you, which can take a few days, and it's up to them too to make it, you know, it could be 90 days, 30 days. I think usually it'll be 30 days before they can enter a training camp. So I mean, I guess that's 12 months. That's a normal training camp, especially for their age. Minimum is an 8-week training camp. You know what I'm saying? At minimum. But what I think, a 12-week training camp is a full training camp, which is normal. But a lot of times, you know, 8 weeks for the younger fighters. You know what I mean? The younger fighters could do that, but people, or, you know, fighters that are in their late 20s and up should have a 12-week, a full training camp, 12 weeks. So that's 3 months. So if he's fighting, if they're gonna have him fighting in November, which is 4 months, I guess that gives him 1 month to rest and heal from those cuts, right? Now y'all starting to follow me, right? So he's got a month to heal from those cuts, which those types of cuts are gonna take longer to heal, because it's got a scab and it's got the scarring's got to heal. You know what I mean? It's gonna take longer than that, especially the type of fight they just went through. He's gonna need longer than a month. You know what I mean? To get into training camp and start sparring again. You know what I mean? You got to think about that. They're setting him up. That's why I think it's a setup. You know, it just don't seem right the way he walked in. No, you're fighting. He just told Matias, no rematch. You're fighting Dalton Smith. I mean, I don't take nothing away from Dalton Smith. He's a good fighter. He's a decent fighter. I've watched him fight before. But he really isn't a big name like that to just throw at Matias. You know what I mean? Matias wants the straps. He's made that very clear. He wants the straps. He wants to go after Teofimo Lopez, Richardson Hitchens, and what's his name? Gary Antoine Russell. He wants the straps. He made that very clear. And he wants to go to 147. And for them to do him dirty like that, to make him know you're fighting this guy, this is who you're gonna fight. Man, you know what I would have told that nigga? I would have told him to get the fuck out of my face. Step the fuck off my ring. You're taking away from my win, bitch. That's what I would have said. Go fuck yourself. I don't need your money. But you're gonna have to pay me for Puello, obviously. Anyway, I mean, that's what I would have said that, bro. I don't give a fuck. He got the WBC strap. I mean, he don't got to take the fight. I would at least renegotiate that. I don't understand how it would be under a Canelo card, because Canelo's fighting Terrence Crawford in September. Then you got October, November. What, he's gonna fight 2 more months? I mean, it's been done in the past, but that's way back when, bro. That's back in the day. Especially, and it depends the type of fight you've been in. If Canelo knocks out Crawford, which I'm guessing that's probably what Turkey wants, and is probably setting up Crawford as well. You know, he's there for the payday, but that's a whole nother conversation. You know what I mean? because I do think Crawford can beat him. I'm going for Crawford. Anyway, this ain't about that. This is about Subriel Matias being set up, or they're trying to set him up. You know what I mean? But initially, Dalton Smith to take a Matias that's 100% Matias. I don't think he stands a chance, honestly. But he is in position. I mean, he is good enough to put up a good fight. You know what I mean? I ain't taking nothing away. He's got decent skills, man. He's pretty good, but to me, he just don't got, or at least hasn't shown from his his recent fights. He hasn't shown. I haven't seen that from him. You know what I mean? Anyway, but if Matias is not 100%, which that's probably what Turkey's banking on, because he was set. Whoever would have won this fight, it would have been bad for either one. That's not a good. Even if Puello won, Puello would have to be the one fighting Dalton Smith in just a 4-month. You know what I'm saying? And the type of fight that it was, that's a hard fight, bro. Like what they just went through, that was a hard fight, a hard fought fight. You know, they took a lot of punishment, both of them. So, I mean, I want to know what you guys think, man. Comment, hit the like. You know what I'm saying? Hit the like, subscribe if you will. But I want to know what you guys think. You know what I mean? Let me know what y'all think. Do you think it's a setup? I feel like people should be talking about this. You know what I mean? I've been commenting on other people's, on their videos, because they're not really talking about that. It just, to me, it seems like a setup. You know what I mean? They're setting him up to lose. They're trying to get their fighters the position. You know what I mean? Their position to get to the stardom. But I feel like if they do fight and Matias takes the fight and somehow Dalton Smith wins, right? He ain't gonna stay on top, because he ain't gonna beat Tio. He ain't got what it takes to beat Tio. He ain't got what it takes to beat Hitchens. He might have what it takes to beat Gary Antoine Russell, but that's no disrespect to Gary Antoine Russell. You know what I mean? Styles make fights. And to me, with the way Dalton Smith fights, he has a better chance against Gary Antoine Russell, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Based on my knowledge of boxing. But I don't even think he won't beat Gary Antoine Russell, though, in my opinion. But you know, that's his best bet, is to go after the WBA if he were to win. Which I don't think he's going to beat Matias anyway. But yeah, bro, it looks bad. It looks bad. It's not good, man. I really hope Matias is healthy if he does take this fight. You know what I mean? And speaking of the commission, bro, I hope the commission, the New York State Athletic Commission, does their job. I hope they're not paid off or something like that, because I think at minimum, after a fight like that, because they both received a lot of blows, like hard blows, at least a 90-day suspension is what, you know what I mean? A 3-month suspension automatically before you're allowed any contact, so you can fully recuperate. You know what I'm saying? And for Matias, no coge esta pelea, no lo coge. Piensa en tu salud. You know what I mean? Diga a Turkey que se vete pa la mierda y que se mame el bicho. Así yo te dije. Anyway, yeah, I just wouldn't. It's just fishy, bro. They're trying to set him up. They really are. You know what I mean? They think Subriel is vulnerable because of his style. You know what I mean? But that's just not it. Obviously, he showed against Puello what he could do. And to me, still, that's not 100% Matias. You know what I mean? To me, he's still, for the majority of the fight, he looked like the old Matias. But, you know what I mean? He started getting tired. You know what I mean? He was, to me, he got tired. I don't know if, I think it's because of all the headbutts, all the pushing, all the clinching, pulling behind the head. Like, he was on it, bro. That man was on it. That man clinched him. Bro, that had to be the world record of clinching. You know what I'm saying? That has to be the world record of clinching, of how many times and how many headbutts. Bro, this man snuck in those headbutts so professional. Nobody even saw it. Shit, I didn't even see it the first time I saw the fight live. I watched that fight 3 times now. I just watched it. Again, I watched it 2 days ago. I rewatched it 2 days ago on Monday. And then I just rewatched it again today because I was like, let me watch this shit one more time. Because, you know, people still think Puello won. And anyways, I had Subriel Matias winning the same as I said when I rewatched it. 2, all the way from 2, rounds 2, straight through 8. And then now that I watched it a 3rd time, I was able to pay a little bit better attention. You could give him round 10. I honestly think he pulled off round 10. But I was nice enough to still give it to Puello because that's still 7 rounds for Matias. He won that anyway. You know what I'm saying? But I do understand the argument. It was a competitive fight no matter what. It was close. It was close. But yeah, other than that, this Subriel Matias versus Dalton Smith, that's a setup, bro. I think it's a setup. I could be wrong, but I think it's a setup. You know, they after a fight like this, I can't stress that enough. After anybody has a fight, this type of fight, they're vulnerable. You know what I mean? That's why Pacquiao took Cotto right after he had 2 brutal fights. Antonio Margarito, and then he had Miguel Cotto had back-to-back hard-ass fights, bro. Tough, hard fights, received a lot of punishment. He went Margarito, Joshua Clottey, and straight into Pacquiao. And they weight drained his ass. But that's not what this is about. I'm just using that as an example. This has been done many times. They take fighters when they're most vulnerable. You know what I mean? And after a fight like that, he's going to be pretty vulnerable. His face was pretty swollen. You know what I mean? He had a cut from a headbutt. I watched the video on headbutts. There was like 40 or 50 headbutts from Puello. It might have been more than that. There was like 50 something. It was around 50 or 40 something headbutts, and the headbutt cut Matias right in the eye. And like I said, a month ain't enough time to like fully heal a cut like that. You know what I mean? He's gonna need stitches, and cuts like that usually will reopen, especially when you got a spar and shit. It's gonna soften it up. All that scar tissue is still gonna be soft. It's not gonna be fully healed. I think he should wait at least 6 months relax for 6 months, obviously stay in shape, but he should at least wait 6 months before entering a training camp so you can start sparring again. You know what I mean? I would at least do that. But if the commission does their job, which I'm hoping they do, they suspend his ass for 90 days. Same thing for Alberto Puello. He needs at least a 90-day suspension, 3-month suspension. That'll make things right. Then they can't force him and fucking cheat him into a loss. You know what I mean? But that's my take. I want to know what you guys think. Let me know what y'all think. Please comment. All right? I don't care if I have 10 views. All 10 of y'all comment. Let me know what y'all think. I want to know what you guys are thinking. JDO Boxing. I'm out.